What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the PlayStation Drive episode 123. My name is Matt, and I'll be your driver for today's events. I'm joined, as always, by the Supreme Court of Canada himself, Mr. Court Lalong. What's up, Court? And before you answer, do you have Audacity going for the sake of double checking?
No,
because
100% didn't. So you know what?
Okay,
it is what it is. I do now.
It is what it is. So what's up,
It is
Court?
what
How
it
you
is.
doing?
I am good. How are you? It's a day. I've done at my job. I have done 23 price requests this morning, and all I've done is do data entry since like 5:30 this morning, and I'm just like, whoa.
Make it rain, get all those price requests out there. All of those requests that need to be requested. And of course, it's a big day, Court. You had to be up nice and early today because we were eagerly anticipating Spider-Man reviews have dropped. They dropped at 10 a.m. Eastern this morning. We have one up on the channel. The homie Steve Akvari joined us to let us know his thoughts and feelings. He's played it. He's platinumed it. And I think he likes it. It seems that's to be the kind of general consensus.
I feel everybody is platinum this game. Like anybody that reviewed it, like, it said they platinum. Like Brad was in New York for like most of it, and he only came back. From what I was reading online, it's, Steve said on the review yesterday that he could he did it in 30 hours, but it could be done a lot quicker. And they've already got like people that, all they do is platinum games, and it can be done in 18 hours. 18 hours.
Oh dang.
To finish the story. Like, that's crazy.
That is crazy. We're going to talk all about Spider-Man in just a little bit. But of course, before we do that, we have to clean this dusty, dirty old garage of ours. If you're watching us live right now at youtube.com/Carpool Gaming, please like the stream, subscribe, share, hit that bell so you're notified when we go live so you can come hang out with us when we do cool stuff. If you have bucks to toss our way, head to patreon.com/Carpool Gaming. Toss in bucks in the good old tip jar, and out comes a cornucopia of content for you to consume. Hit us up on your podcast service of choice with that like, with that subscribe, with that 5 stars. Leave that review, because if you do, we are giving away Super Mario Wonder or a copy of Spider-Man 2 this week. You have a couple more days left to enter. If you go to carpoolgaming.com, head over, buy a shirt. We have a cool Spider Wonder shirt up there that gives you even more entries. So either review to get in for free, go buy the shirt, or some stickers if you want some cool extra ways to get in there, and you could win a copy of Super Mario Wonder or, obviously, Spider-Man 2. So make sure you go do all that. But without further ado, Court,
hold on. Can someone clip what just happened? Because Matt doesn't realize he kept going like this as he was talking, and he didn't realize he was shooting Spider-Man. Oh, dude, don't do that again. No one needs to see that.
I'm just shooting webs all over the place. Well, there you go. I'm in the spider zone today, Court. But without further ado, we've been busy playing some stuff. There's been some games. There's been some time. We're in a busy time of the year. Court, what have you been playing? What's been on your playlist?
What have I been playing? Well, I have been playing NHL 24. My review just dropped on Carpool Gaming. Want to go check it out? I have been playing.
I'm gonna interrupt real quick. I also just want to give you your flowers, because that review was excellent. You've been putting in a lot of work this year with learning how to edit, with getting everything together. And I got to say, that review was clean. It was concise. I don't care at all about hockey, and you had me enamored for 9 minutes listening to the buckets drop in and the pucks a flying. So kudos to you, dude. That was a great review. So go check it out if you haven't yet.
And if somebody wants, there's actually a different version of the review that YouTube wouldn't allow for copyrighted material. Because I put some clips in there of hockey stuff and some announcing and stuff like that, it made it a lot longer, but to me, it felt more concise. But they took it out. So if anybody wants it, DM me and I can send you the actual review of the game, because I had so much fun. I haven't played a game this much since MLB The Show, and I've had zero issues because MLB The Show was just pressing that button. But this year's NHL, I don't know, it's got me hooked. I'm playing daily. I would say probably like 2 hours a day. It's probably the #1 game I'm playing right now. And
really?
I'm having a ton of fun. But it's definitely, as I said in the review, if you're a hockey fan, sure, you're going to love this game. If you're a avid purchaser of NHL, the franchise, like I have since 1993, and maybe the only thing you play is online, then maybe you don't like it, because a lot of people are the online people are complaining about this game. But for me, they finally have catered to the offline players such as myself, because I don't need to go get bodied playing online, because I'm just not that good at the game. I love playing the game. I'm better at real hockey than I am at video game hockey, but they've catered to make me want to. They have this thing called Hot Moments, and it's one of my favorite things. You get to relive actual events that happen in NHL history, like Wayne Gretzky's 50 goals in 39 games, or it just all these different events that have happened through hockey, and they actually will update them as the season progresses. They're going to put in moments that happen through the season and update them with other things. Like they've already said that during the playoffs, they're going to have playoff moments. So hopefully we do get to see the 4-1 collapse of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think they did it like 3 times with the Bruins. So it's like, hopefully we get at least 1 out of 3, just to put the Leaf fans back in their place. But I've also been playing the Grinch Christmas Adventures on the PlayStation 5. Yeah, I stopped talking about hockey with my daughter, and we've been having a ton of fun with this game. I personally think the game is what it is. It's a side scroller. There is nothing to it. It's pretty much the same levels, and they just change the background over and over again. But my daughter, who is 7, is loving this game. One, she loves the Grinch movie. She likes the Benedict Cumberbatch version. I know I talked to you about this, and you didn't. She loves that version of the movies. But
Benedict Cumberbatch Grinch?
Yeah, he's the Grinch in the animated. Yeah, amazing.
Oh, in the animated. Okay,
animated.
We're back.
But I've had a lot of fun because we can play it together. So what ends up? She ends up being the dog Max, and I end up being the Grinch. Now the Grinch can get hit, but dog Max can't. So you go through and you can play throughout all the levels. You get to build up your character. It's probably only like 10 hours to even finish the game, and you can get an easy platinum. Not 10 hours, sorry, like 3 hours, sorry, to finish the game. I think we put in just over 2, and I'm just cleaning up the trophies to get the platinum on it, because it's pretty easy to get. But it's literally the story, How You Grinch Stole Christmas. It gets narrated as you go through with that like British accent. It's phenomenal. Like, it is a lot of fun. It's a Christmas game. It comes out in October, right before Halloween. All right, but yeah, it's a fun game for anybody who has a family. But go out there and play it. And then I've also been playing the Call of Duty beta. Thanks to my friends over at Activision, they sent me a code. I got to hop into the beta, and I don't know, man, I can't stop playing that as well. The Grinch does not. Jesus, oh my God, it's the Grinch, not the Grinch. I haven't played a Call of Duty multiplayer in years. I just stick to the story, because anytime I play in the multiplayer, I'm just going out there and getting destroyed. Everybody keeps telling me I've got to hop back into these. And even Steve last night pretty much says we've got to 100% play some Warzone, because I've never played it before. But I've been having a ton of fun. Like my KDI is just over 1, so I'm not getting killed more than I'm killing. I am probably getting 10 kills and dying 8 times. I'm taking my time with it. But I love how you can play Rust and all these old maps that I'm familiar with, and they're a lot smaller. As Call of Duty was going on in multiplayer, one of my issues I was having with it is the maps just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was getting destroyed. People would snipe, and you have nowhere to go. I love when you have these small, compact first-person shooter maps. It makes for more excitement. Yeah, you can die all the time, but you can also in Rust, you can go down an alleyway. Not Rust, sorry. I can't remember what the map is called. You can go down alleyways, and you can just snipe everyone. It's
KDR.
Kill death ratio. Yeah, my apologies. Yeah. It's been a day.
I also really love that new feature that they added into the Call of Duty beta for the more elderly players such as yourself, which all the guns come with a built-in walker, so everything feels more stable. But so I'm happy for you.
I will say that this bad boy is finally come in handy more than it's ever come in handy in playing a video game. I'm able to change the trigger sensitivities in the back here and push them all the way down. So I don't have to have the reflexes like everybody else. Right now, it is full. I barely have to touch my trigger, and it's pulling the trigger all the time. So it has been a lifesaver, and I would probably say it has saved my life a couple times playing the Call of Duty. So when this game comes out, I think, Matt, I am 100% in on playing the Call of Duty Call of Duty this year. I'm in. I'm going to play the story. I'm going to play online and see where I can go. I think I'm level 8 now in the beta, but nothing transfers over. It is what it is.
It is what it is. You know what? I've seen a lot of people talking about how much fun it is. I'm usually more of a Battlefield guy myself, but maybe if you're hopping in, if Steve's hopping in, if a bunch of the community hops in,
I think
maybe
Sean's
this
gonna be.
is the
Sean was
year.
playing it too on the stream on Twitch.
Well, there we go.
Twitch.tv/Carpool Gaming Live.
There you go. You did the thing.
I did. Finally, it's very rare when I pull that off.
I know, right? There you go. Maybe this is the year I'll hop in. Maybe I'll finally pull the trigger alongside you guys. If I also have the DualSense Edge, so if the little trigger finger goodness is as good as you say, then maybe this is the time. Okay, fine. Okay, we'll see. I'm not gonna say yes, but I'm not gonna say no, Cord. Okay, I will stay perfectly in the middle, and we'll see what happens.
Hey,
but
if the rumors persist, all these games are showing up on Game Pass tomorrow, right? All the Call of Duty games.
Maybe
that's like all over the internet. It's like making me laugh. I think it's just being said because they want to take away the shine from Spider-Man 2 today, because it's a shining. It's spectacular. Some might say the reviews.
Like, it's amazing. Some would say it's spectacular. Some would
it's very an ultimate thing to say.
It is very an ultimate thing to say. As for myself, I have beat a couple games in the last week. I finished Assassin's Creed Mirage. I really enjoyed it. I had some severe technical issues when it came to the last 3-ish hours. I was playing on Xbox Series X. I'm not sure if that translates to PlayStation as well. I'll have a review coming up on the channel in the next little bit. But I had some pretty severe technical issues, like missions that just got bugged out and I had to reload and do entire sections to be able to complete them. Fell through the floor more than one time. Frame rate dripped catastrophically, even though there was nothing going on screen.
It was dripping like a water.
It just completely dripped.
Just dripping all the time. Not drop,
just drip.
Mm-hmm.
That's how, because the frame rate was going like 1, 1, 1. You see what I did there? But yeah, it was outside of those technical issues in the last couple hours. I really enjoyed it. This is exactly what I wanted out of an Assassin's Creed Return to Form. I thought the story was fine. The last couple hours, yes, it was more interesting, but even then I thought it was just okay. But just the gameplay loop of sneaking around, doing the assassin-y stuff, the upgrades were cool, the weapons were fun. I enjoyed it for what it was. It was the perfect game for me at the time to just turn off my brain and play it. And yeah, I like the big kind of tentpole assassin missions were usually pretty entertaining. So for me, this is exactly what I wanted out of this game, and I hope to see more of this going forward, because I think that the game is a little threadbare in terms of some of its options, and even then, like I said, some of the technical mishaps that I had, I do hope that Ubisoft will continue to do these smaller, more focused assassin-like experiences moving forward, because I do really miss this era and this style of Assassin's Creed, because it was my favorite. The more recent trilogy, while I enjoyed parts of it, I missed the old school Assassin's Creed, and this is exactly what I got out of it. And then I also finally finished Trails into Reverie, so there will be a review coming for that as well. Loved it. It really was this big epic conclusion to the last 15 years of Trails games. The combat was great. The story was so satisfying. Seeing all these characters together was awesome. I really, truly loved it. For anybody who's an RPG fan, if you haven't played this series yet, don't start here, because this is really like the Avengers Endgame / Infinity War. This is collecting everything. 3 different storylines that all come.
Please don't compare this game ever again to Avengers Endgame. Like that's not.
But that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
It's not. It's
really
no. Only you care.
It's like NHL 27 court, I'm telling you. How long to beat Reverie, Drellesh? I would say it probably took me around 25 to 30 hours. I was playing on the fast forward mode as well. Yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed it. Super, super great for any Trails fan or anybody who's looking to get into the series. Again, don't start here, but start elsewhere and have a fantastic ride. But Court, without further ado, we have a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. So why don't we kick this door down by hopping into what the news that broke this morning. The embargo lifted. We now know that Spider-Man 2 is a huge success. Coming over from Shinobi 602 on X. We got a whole bunch of 10s, a whole bunch of 9.5s, a whole bunch of 9s. Let's switch again real quick here to OpenCritic, because it is currently sitting at a 91 on
it's the same
average, 100%. Critics recommended. Yes, it's still the same as it was earlier this morning.
No, I'm saying it's the same. OpenCritic and Metacritic both have the same score.
Both at 91. There you go. This is awesome. I'm super, super, super stoked on this. Obviously, our chat with Steve yesterday like really just amped me up even more so. But I was expecting like an 85 to 87 kind of thing. Like I was expecting this game to land with the common consensus being like, obviously it's great. It's Insomniac. It's Spider-Man. Obviously it's great. It's more of the same. But a lot of the reviews are calling it Insomniac's best work. A lot of the reviews are heralding it as like the Uncharted 2 to what was Uncharted 1, which was just a wild leap forward. Dude, I'm stoked. How are you feeling about us finally knowing how this game lands?
Well, I'm very interested to see the tech specs on, because the people were showing like when you're walking through Times Square, and I had to stop watching because Digital Foundry's done a great video, but I can't watch it until I play it because somebody
Same.
people that have reviewed the game said don't watch that video. They've already watched it. They're like, don't. Like, Digital Foundry doesn't say there's spoilers in there, but they're like, please don't watch it. Like, it spoils the living daylights out of the game. So I was like, okay, not gonna watch it, but I'm loving the fact that this game, Insomniac, is just keeps stepping it up. Like after we talked to Steve, I thought the same thing after he said that. And even talking to people when I was at the Ubisoft event, no one told me anything about the game. It's just their hype level. They talked about it a bit, but they didn't really talk about the game. Who were playing it. So I was like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. And they all kept saying the same thing over and over again. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is still game of the year, but this is a good game. Like that's the impressions I was continually being told the whole time. And so when the scores came out, we all even guessed yesterday on the review. I was like, oh, like 85 to an 88. That makes about sense. Like 91, it probably will go down a little bit, even though it's sitting at that 91 right now. Because people are going to review bomb the living daylights out of this somehow, or an Xbox only site is going to get a copy of the game and give it like a 1 just because they feel like they need to. But I'm very excited to play the game. And that's all I really want to do. I'm at this point, like, you're going to be doing the review. I'm very excited just to play a video game and just play the game. So all I want to do is play Spider-Man 2. And I don't want to, geez, I sound like Sheryl Crow there. I don't want to ruin it for myself. So I'm not going to even read our friends' reviews. Nope, that's it. Like Steve did a great job of not giving away anything about the game and only talking about, oh, wow. 11 out of 10. Jesus.
Jake in the chat, obviously the homie over from Game Explain. If Game Explain would let me give it an 11 out of 10, he would. That is high praise. Amped, dude. Amped. So stoked. I cannot wait. It is imminent.
I just wants to play it. Like this.
I know.
It's like, play me.
I just want my 19 inches of Venom. You know what I mean?
And shout out to Savoy Prime. He won Save the Games Media's collector's edition. So he's getting 19 inches of Venom right up in him.
Was it collectors? I thought it was just the digital.
I thought it was like the whole big bad boy. I'll have to double check that. Hold on.
Yeah, double check that. But yeah, dude, shout out to SP who won a copy of the game over
the
homie saved
money without realizing it.
Digital Deluxe. I was gonna say that is not the collector's edition.
Fine.
Digital Deluxe.
I see the statue. Look, it says, that's Extra Life. Okay, no, never mind. I saw the picture.
But look, SP Court is out here trying to upsell you. He's trying to get the save the game to hit you up with the collector's edition. The collector's edition is our Extra Life grand prize, which is still up for grabs. So make sure you guys support.
I put out the tweet earlier. We're giving away a copy of the game too. Anybody who wants to win it. It's very simple.
It is. There's just a couple things you can review. You can buy stuff. Either way, you'll be entered. But yeah, I can't wait. Like I've watched Skillup's review, but I listened to Skillup's review. He's usually very, very good about not spoiling anything, and he's kept the kind of same trajectory here. But I didn't watch because I didn't want to see any of the footage. The game looks excellent. I can't wait. Court. It is this week. We got Spider-Man this week. We got Mario this week. We got Blink-182 this week. It is a great.
I forgot we got Blink. My daughter has asked for Mario for her birthday, so I can't play that game until November. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. Let's keep this train rolling because obviously in true PlayStation fashion, the PlayStation blog announced a new look for the PS5 console. How may you ask? In a blog post. This was announced on October 10th. We're getting a smaller PS5 design coming with 1 terabyte of storage for the PS5 and the PS5 Digital Edition. A new model provides option to add an Ultra HD Blu-ray disc drive to PS5 Digital Edition. So here we got it. We got a good look at it. Court, before we get into anything else, what do you think of the look of the redesign?
Because of the detachable, I understand how they have to have that line there. I don't personally like the line.
This one?
I also look at this like people who just watch Spider-Man faceplates, and if they want to get the new console or whatever, because people have FOMO and they need to have everything. they can't use well, we don't know yet. We don't know if we can use faceplates on this, but I think it would be more difficult or even maybe more expensive because you'd have to take off 4 pieces instead of just 2. I love the fact some people were showing it side by side how much smaller it is. It looks like I have a digital only downstairs, and I'm debating being that person, like, selling it, spending that extra $100 and buying one of these just to see how small this thing is and see if I can travel with it. Even though, as I learned whenever I was in Michigan, you can just remote play the living daylights out of your PlayStation 5 and play on an iPad, and it's just as good. I do like the size factor. As much as I love my PlayStation 5, it's a big beast. It's a beast. It's a huge console. It's just this line, like even when I see it, like it's just, I don't know, man, that line drives me insane. And I don't think there was any way to get around it because of the detachable disk drive, because otherwise it would look pretty ugly if it wasn't like that, right?
See, I see, like, I agree with you. And the thing that kind of gets me is that, like, this effectively, I'm just pulling up a link here so we can look at them side by side. I'm just grabbing.
Yeah, I saw a picture online of it side
Here we
by
go.
side.
Yeah, I got one over here from the folks over at IGN. Well, that did not work the way I intended it to. But anyways, there it is. Hold on, let me switch again. There it is. So it is a pretty big size difference when comparing the two, which I do like. Well, quite literally a huge difference. I don't mind the line, honestly, but what it tells me is that we're probably not going to be getting a lot of plates moving forward. If this is going to be the new format going forward, because they essentially went on to say that they're phasing out the OG PS5, that this is going to be the model going forward. So I don't mind the lines in and of themselves, but that also probably means that we're not going to be getting, like, I don't know, are we going to get like partial plates that are customizable? Like, I don't really understand the long-term play here, especially when the plates were something that they were so gung-ho on when we were learning about what the PS5 was. So I am a little bit disappointed in that respect. Going on, I do think that Drellesh makes good points. There will be new plates and new again when the PS5 Pro comes. Maybe the PS5 Pro is going to be the one with the detachable and easily changeable plates. Who knows? And then the other thing, we actually have a question from the community about this new PS5 that I'm going to bring in. Nagachaka writes in and says, please give us your honest thoughts about PlayStation's advertising about the new PS5 models, because all the images show the new PS5s are hashtag Team Vertical, but it only comes with a stand that supports Team Horizontal and are charging consumers $30 USD if they want to be part of Team Vertical. I think that's ridiculous. The fact that they're charging you $30 to be able to stand this thing up is absolutely wild. I think that is just really them like pinching pennies at that point. Like, come on. Like the original could go up or down, and now, like Nagachaka mentioned, all of the marketing materials show this thing standing up. But guess what? You buy that and expect to stand it up, but they're gonna have to charge you an extra $30 US to do it. I don't think that's cool at all. Court, am I off base here?
I don't think you're off base. I think it's I look at things there. I always have that, like, consumer hat, but also that like marketing hat. Like it and someone who buys Apple, so I can't really speak to someone who are exactly. I already spent a lot of money. They went, instead of doing a plastic stand, they went with a metal stand. It looks metal to me. Am I wrong in what it looks like? Looks like a metal ring going around. So
let me pull it back up. Hold on.
It looks metal. Go on. So that I think so as money. Well. I have mine horizontal, not vertical, underneath my desk here. But I think it's because what they chose for design aspects is the reason we're having to pay more money. And what they're pretty much saying is, if you want it, you're going to pay for it. But what they already know is people will. Like, it was also like when the PlayStation Portal was announced, everybody was like, oh, no one's going to buy this thing. That thing is going to sell like hotcakes. This stand is going to sell. People are going to buy this stand. Like, it's absolutely crazy, but people are going to buy this thing. It's just, why wouldn't you want to make more money? Unfortunately, consoles are a loss. They're a loss leader when they sell them at the beginning. So I think they're trying to recoup their money. I will say this. I think it's kind of terrible that they are charging you for the stand, but I also think it's okay because they're giving us more memory. So I take the good with the bad, right?
Yeah, but then are they not also more expensive? At least the digital is, comparatively to what came before. So like, the thing for me is that it is.
No, I get that. Yeah, you're right.
But the thing for me is that, like, when they take away things that we previously got part of the package, and it's not even like PS4 or PS3 the stand was included and it was free, but in PS5, guess what, you're charging for it. We already got the PS5 with the stand that worked on both horizontal and vertical, and now all of a sudden, and again, it's not like it's $10, even if it's metal or if it isn't, like that for me feels like a complete, like I didn't think there was an existing issue with the PS5s falling over as far as I'm aware. So for them then to go turn around and say $30 USD, which means it's probably going to be 45
50
Canadian
bucks after tax Canadian.
$50 after tax Canadian for a stand. Like that's half a DualSense controller right there. Like
yeah,
this
is not going to be vertically standing. I'm not getting one, to be
Sean,
totally honest, but yeah.
I'm with you here. This is a we're better than you and we know it moment if I ever saw one. I agree. This feels like the PS3 era cocky Sony that, like you mentioned, they're going to do it because they know people will buy it. And I don't like that. I think that's a completely unnecessary.
I think all of them do it. In the long run, everybody puts out something that they know people are going to buy that's not the best, but they're going to put their logo on it, and it is what it is at this point. We're all in an ecosystem that we choose to be in. We're in the PlayStation 1. Yes, what they're doing, 100%, it sucks, but it's almost like my favorite thing to say nowadays, like it is what it is. Like I think it just gives us something to complain about when that's what we like to do as gamers. But like, I'm not going to buy the thing. Just don't buy it.
Yeah, again, I know what you mean, but like for me, I do think that there's a point in there
about one on Amazon for $10. Go buy that
one. Probably, but even still, like again, all of the images show this thing standing, right? Like there's they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. This is not an accident, but like, come on. But yeah, the redesign is coming. It'll be hitting the holidays this year, so let us know if you're going to be picking one up, if this is enough for you to do a Switch, or are you going to be waiting for that potential Pro? Staying on the PlayStation Nation train, coming from VGC, written by Andy Robinson, PSN data reportedly hints at trophies for PlayStation PC games. Sony added the ability to link PSN accounts to Spider-Man PC last year. That's according to data from True Trophies, a site that scans trophy lists directly from the PlayStation Network. According to the site, it recently detected a new PS5 trophy list with an additional platform listed alongside it, PSPC. The list in question reportedly isn't attached to any particular game and appears to be a test. It's claimed that the PSPC platform listing refers to a new platform separate from the PS5, yet one that might still connect to the PS5 platform. So it seems, Court, that we may be finally getting trophy support on PC. Now, my big question, as I ask for your thoughts and your opinions, will you, let's say I play Spider-Man on my PS5, will I get trophies across the board, or am I going to need to replay that game to get it on the PC again? Is that a separate trophy list? Where are we at with this? What do you think?
All I can go by is what I think. So one, I think this is a smart idea. If it's true, it's just a rumor out right now. If it works anything like it used to do with the Vita, that's the only way I can use like an example of something that got trophies after the fact, because there were some games that had trophies that would show up in your trophy list after the fact on Vita. On the Vita, they were separate trophies. So the games list was separate, but you were able to, say you transferred your save, you were able to just automatically get the trophies on your PlayStation 3. So I would think that if they're able to link it, we would be able to bring up our PSN and we'd be able to bring up our save file. I would think that that's what I think, because that's the only way you can, if you remember with Spider-Man, to get the trophies to pop, you had to repopulate your save file and then open it up. And yeah, I did it. Yeah, I have the Spider-Man remastered platinum in like 2 seconds, fastest platinum I've ever gotten in a Spider-Man game. But I think that's what they'd have to do, and I think that might be the hurdle. Otherwise, if they can't figure out that piece, these are separate trophies. Now, if they are separate trophies, one thing I'll say about PlayStation people is they're trophy hunters. If they're really into the ecosystem, they're trophy hunters. I think this would actually sell more games on the PC because it would be a rarer trophy. So they'd want it in their list.
I completely agree with you. I think that this is a great move if this is real. And kind of what I'm wondering, speaking to cross saves and speaking to, Kev's point in the chat, this is cool, but what I really want is a PS Plus PC app to support all 100%. Controllers. This to me screams that it's a new launcher. You know what I mean? You're going to have your PlayStation launcher. Like, I'm sure they're talking about streaming. We're already getting that on PS5, that you can stream your library now, so on and so forth. They're making moves to be more of an ecosystem with what we see Xbox that has been doing for years. So for me, this screams that there's going to be there's going to be a PlayStation launcher on your PC. You're going to be able to stream games from your PS5. You're going to be able to play games natively that are on PC. There's going to be hopefully cross saves. There's going to be cross progression when it comes to your trophies and stuff. I hope that is the ecosystem that they're building towards, because I think you're right. I think it would just enable people to play more PlayStation games on their PC, which is obviously a big goal for them, which we've seen over the last few years. So I think this is great. I hope that this is real, Court. Let's look into our crystal ball here. When is this theoretical PS PC trophy / PS platform, launcher? When do you see this hitting? When do you think this could be a thing?
I would think it would be smart to have it with Horizon, the complete edition that's coming next year, right? What do they say? What, later in the year or early next year? They didn't really give it a release date. Maybe they're waiting on this.
For Forbidden West?
Yeah, because they said it comes with Burning Shores and so on and so forth. It's either that or because you're going to want to have it go live with a game, right? The last thing you want to do is put this just out as a launcher.
Early next year.
And you know what? PlayStation does that all the time. It's not even going to launch with the game. It's just going to come out when it comes out. I couldn't give you a thing. PlayStation's just going to be like, oh, here's a blog post. Here you go, your new PC launcher.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get something at even the Game Award. I think we would get some sort of announcement between now and year's end, because I really do still think that The Last of Us Part 2 is probably going to come to PC, and this feels to me like a pretty easy way to, again, I think you're right. I could totally see them doing without it, but I think it makes a lot of sense for them to have a game come out, alongside this launcher. Maybe if you own it on PlayStation, maybe you'll get a discount or whatever else. The PlayStation Plus may be integrated.
I'm still 100% in on. They should have Game Pass on PC. It should be a thing. Not Game Pass, sorry. PlayStation Plus on PC. Like Kev's right, and have the launcher. And if they do that, they should be bundling it with the consoles. Give us 2 months. 2 months free.
So, but I mean, PlayStation Plus already exists. Well, not in its
entirety.
Capacity.
Not the same.
Not really.
I all my PlayStation games that I have, I'm playing them on Steam.
Yep. True. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Give us something. They probably won't. They'll probably make you charge. They'll probably charge you double for everything. But that's how it rolls.
Like everybody has a launcher, so at this point, might as well just get one.
I think like spring next year makes sense to me. Especially if Horizon. Maybe you're right. Maybe Horizon will be the game to kind of lead the charge, because it says early next year. But we will find out. We'll keep you all posted. Would you guys be downloading a PlayStation PC launcher? Because I know that definitely a lot of the PC ecosystem will be like, here we go, another launcher. Yay.
You know what? They complain about things like that doesn't even matter. They should be complaining about how hard it is to play on their PCs all the time and having to like move all the different hard drives and upgrade them every 2 seconds and download the drivers. You know what I do? I just turn my console on and I play the game. I just play the game.
Yep. Just play the game.
Let's head over. Sean was playing Miles Morales, and it was just a cluster for him playing on PC.
Cluster.
And he's got a great PC. Couldn't even get it. Issues.
He's got clusters. Just clusters full of other clusters. Of course, we have to end our news rock block by talking about the most fun and exciting story that we've been talking about for what feels like a century, but we're finally at the end of it. Coming from The Verge, Microsoft completes Activision Blizzard acquisition, Call of Duty now part of Xbox. This is coming from Tom Warren. Microsoft now publishes franchises like Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch, Call of Duty, and Candy Crush. Microsoft has finally finalized its $68.7 billion deal to acquire Activision Blizzard, the publisher of Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, and Diablo. The Verge exclusively reported last week that Microsoft was planning to close today, and now it is official. So it's official. All of these things are coming under the Xbox umbrella. And I want to pull in one more story here that actually community host of the PlayStation Drive, Drellesh, sent along to us, coming from livemint.com. Written by, I can't, hold on, where's the byline? It says
Live Mint.
Just, okay, there's no byline. Written by whoever wrote this. Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal, an historic deal in the gaming industry. Microsoft sealed its $69 billion acquisition for Activision Blizzard on Friday. Let's see what we got here. It's talking a lot about exclusivity, talking about how a lot of these things might fall more under the Xbox banner. Obviously, a boost to Microsoft presence in mobile gaming. change in Sony's strategy to rule the gaming world. The mega merger will bring Microsoft in direct competition with Sony. The acquisition will exert pressure on Sony to change its strategy to maintain its dominance in the market. Historically, Sony would have twice the market share of Microsoft at all times, and so now with this acquisition, on a revenue basis, they're the same size. NYU Stern School of Business professor, Joost van Drunen, I apologize if I messed up your name, told Yahoo Finance, the company is already striving to bring more live service games. However, the industry expects that Sony needs to intensively boost its live service game catalog to compete against a new industry leader. Court, we've been talking about the story for what feels like forever, but we are at the end. The acquisition has gone through. What does this mean for PlayStation moving forward?
I don't think it means much. I think, to be totally honest,
at all, or in the interim, or for now.
In the interim, I don't think it means much right now. In the future, I think this will be the only thing that could ever push Sony to start having day and date or having a new tier in PlayStation Plus. Because I think it would be a new tier. I think this is the only thing that could ever push them based on sales. I think they're going to take a wait and see approach because Call of Duty is still going to be on PlayStation. But I do think that the sales will decline on it, because if you already have an Xbox, why would you buy it on PlayStation? Because it's just going to come to the service anyways. It's shown anytime a game comes to Game Pass, people will just play it there if it's day and date. I think you're still going to get the people that want to play Call of Duty on the PlayStation because that's where they built their community. That's where they built their player base. They built their team, so on and so forth. But I think this could actually push them to make a different decision. Now, there are, in this report, in that article that Drellesh sent us, they were saying how PlayStation is going to push more into Destiny and they have these other FPSs. If Sony is able to bring out something that can compete with Call of Duty, they're fine. But you also still have Diablo, which is a huge franchise, Overwatch, which is another huge franchise that quite in the soon possibility will not be on PlayStation anymore moving forward. The whatever version we have now is the version we have now. Those can hurt. And you're also going to have Microsoft being able to use Sledgehammer and Raven and all these other studios that they have to possibly make a good Halo game. Yeah, I said it. The last Halo Infinite, it wasn't good. And hopefully they can make a better one. And if they give it to a good studio, maybe they can make a good Halo game. And maybe that will be a terrible thing for PlayStation. So in PlayStation, they either go out and buy somebody else, because now Xbox has a huge stable, which is competitive with the PlayStation stable now, even though I still think PlayStation has the better single player games. But if you look at what Xbox has got going on right now, that's huge. And if they take this lightly, it could be a big deal for them in the bad way.
See, I wonder about what the future of the industry is going to look like now, because I do think, like, we've seen Microsoft play nice before. We've seen it with Minecraft. We've seen it with other things. They had cross stuff on Nintendo. So for me, I think kind of what Kev says in the chat, I bet Diablo 5 comes to PlayStation. I think live service games remain multi-platform for the money. I think you're onto something here. I do think the single player stuff, your Elder Scrolls, moving forward, like your Starfield, so on and so forth, those games will probably be exclusive to Xbox and its ecosystem. I think that's where we'll see the major kind of divide start, with a lot of the multi-platform stuff coming across the board with, I'm sure, either discounts or exclusive content or whatever reason is for you to be playing on Xbox outside of just it's on Game Pass. Because I think Sony's going to have to get more aggressive. My biggest worry is, are they going to get more aggressive about the wrong things? Like, live service is important, yes, but like, how many live service games nowadays actually genuinely thrive? More pop up and die than we see a lot of them
100%.
Have great success. So for them to focus in on live service only, rather than, in my opinion, focus on the ecosystem, focus on building what Xbox has spent building over the last decade across Game Pass PC, across Game Pass on your phone, across all of these things, all of these services that commingle and work together so beautifully, focus on that. And I'm worried that Sony's strategy is going to be, well, now we need our own Diablo. Now we need our own this or that or the other. So, but at the same time, I could totally see 5 years down the line, because right now, a lot of what Xbox is doing is dependent on its current form of leadership. Obviously, I'm sure there will be contracts in place that secure Call of Duty for X amount of years on PlayStation, but they're whoever Xbox leadership can change in 5 years from now, and then the mandate can be different, right? They could be even more guarded, they could be more open. So I feel like we're entering a point in the industry now that things are going to be very interesting over the next number of years. Drellesh writes in with a few questions alongside the article that he sent over to us, saying, questions for the show. Greetings, gents. Now that the merger between Activision and Sony is done, what do you think of the long-term benefits for this merger when looking at the future of Game Pass? We've kind of discussed it. All of this hitting on Game Pass is going to I'm sure it's going to be awesome. They saw from reports that a lot of their growth has stalled. I'm sure this will be a great reason for them to get
they
even more
announce
in.
all the Call of Duty games are hitting Game Pass, subscribing, the base will go up through, like, they'll have their biggest jump in years in one day. In one day. Just when they announce, hey, every single Call of Duty game is on Game Pass now.
It'll 100%. And like, that's what I mean. They're going to see more of this. And if they're able to market it and communicate it properly to people that are outside of just the core base of gamers, like us, for example, then they're going to hit more and more. Like when I was speaking to my brother, who is an Xbox gamer, but not one that's very tuned in. He plays the sports games, to play the Call of Duties. He had no idea that this was even a possibility. And then he started looking at Game Pass, right? So if they build on this, they could really have something gargantuan.
Especially because they already have EA Play built into Game Pass. So I'll give a perfect example. One of my buddies, he's a huge Call of Duty player. And when I was away in Detroit, I work with him. He was like, oh, I want to go out and buy a PS5. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's great. It's good. I'm loving the console. He's like, I'm just going to play Call of Duty and EA games. And I'm just like, I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I can recommend. It's like, this is a tough conversation. I'm like, what do you want to buy? He's like, well, I'm like, are your buddies on PS5? He's like, well, you are, and so. I'm like, all right, I know money's an issue, and it was a hard thing for me, even though I'm a PlayStation gamer. I had to turn to him and say, I think you should buy an Xbox, man. I'm like, this one, you'll have to spend less money because you could just go at this, and the games you play, which he just plays NHL, Madden, and FIFA or FC or whatever they want to call it, which is still selling like hotcakes, regardless whether the name FIFA is there or not. So I guess that whole like, oh, this game isn't going to sell didn't work out so well. And he plays Call of Duty. He doesn't play anything else. And every now and then he'll probably play a Grand Theft Auto. So I was like, you know what, dude, just go buy Game Pass. You're going to spend your dollars for 1 year and you'll have every game that you want.
Especially if they eventually roll in EA Play Pro into Game Pass as well, because right now that is still a separate service that only exists on PC. Like, there's a lot of potential here. Drellesh continues saying, I know it'll take 1 or 2 years for the true synergies to come forth. In my opinion, Xbox has the opportunity to broaden Game Pass with more titles in their library. That's the way he spelled it, not the way that wasn't my mistake. He said library, making PlayStation Plus an extremely expensive and unattractive alternative. Do you think that the 3-tier system in PlayStation Plus will be sustainable if you look down 5 years down the line? And this is my major question, because if what they're continuing to do is add select Crunchyroll titles or add random movies to premium, no. Like there's no chance. Do I think that this will push Sony into making their first party games day and date? Not yet. Not yet. I think they're going to need to see significant drops in sales for them to really even consider bringing their stuff day and date. Maybe this makes it 6 months out of the line. Maybe we see a more definitive timeline. Maybe we see something, but they need to figure something out for PlayStation Plus that isn't just what we have right now. And again, the service is still relatively new in its current form. They still have stuff to figure out. But if what they're doing was Xbox a decade ago, here are movies. Here are select anime titles. Here are random stuff that they're doing. This PlayStation Plus is going to have a rude awakening in 5 years' time when all of this quality and all of these incredible games sit on Game Pass, and we get a dated system, let's call it, with PlayStation Plus.
Well, everybody keeps. I'm going to put this out and put my prediction hat on, and Xbox Game Pass will go up in price when all these games hit it. It is what it is. When these games come day and date, when Call of Duty is day and date, not when just the games come to Game Pass, give Xbox 6 months or whatever. I'm sorry. All you Xbox people out there don't want to hear it. Game Pass is going up in price. They're about to offer you more value. They're about to charge you for it. They just made a huge acquisition and they need to recoup their money. And the only way to do that is to make you pay for it. So when they start seeing the subscriber count going up, they're going to wait a bit. They'll probably have a certain threshold that they want. And they're going to be like, all right, now we're going to announce a huge price increase because they need to offset these costs. I don't care how much money Microsoft. It is about money. They don't, as much as Phil Spencer wants to put on his leather jacket and his track pants and have whisper sweet nothings in the Xbox players' ears, he's going to have to put out the bad message and say, I'm about to charge you more money, because they have no choice. Now, if PlayStation ever decides to put their first party games there, they are going to have another tier, and they're just going to charge us more money for it, because they're going to need to recoup theirs. And if PlayStation wants to compete, they eventually will have to go down that road, because Xbox is getting huge. And now they have one of the biggest games in gaming that's going to hit day and date on their service. So PlayStation, if you're listening, you're going to have to figure it out, because you 100% are going to have to pull it off. It's not leather pants. He wears track pants and a leather jacket like all the time. This guy is the perfect dad outfit. He might as well be wearing cargo shorts, and then Phil Spencer completes the ensemble. But PlayStation doesn't have a choice. Xbox is putting them in a corner, and they're going to have to figure it out, because you can't continue to rest on your laurels, because eventually this will win. It's going to happen.
My biggest thing is that, like, we saw Game Pass increase back in June, and I think you're right. There will be an inevitable other increase, but I don't think it'll be immediate. I think they're going to let you experience Game Pass in its new and emboldened form with all these extra things 6 to 12 months after that. Yes, I think there will be a decent increase in, like, the likes 100%. Of PlayStation Plus. I disagree, though, that PlayStation, if they add their first party, that they should add another tier and make it even more expensive. Because right now, PlayStation Plus is basically the cost of, let's say, at premium, is the cost of 2 first-party full-price games. Yep, that's assuming that they're going to have continued output of at least that a year, which isn't every year, right? We don't get 2 full price first party titles out of them every year on top of everything else. So I think they're going to have to get aggressive with the first party stuff. They're going to have to get aggressive with their indie stuff, aggressive with their third party partnerships. They're going to have to do a lot, because even, like, look at, I mean, again, it's not for us, but what is it? League of Legends on Game Pass now, how you get, like, all of the legends and stuff unlocked for free, like, massive. So they're going to have to get creative outside of here's friggin' Rush Hour. You can watch it for free on PlayStation Premium. Like, come on.
But I know you don't want it. But we don't want to pay more money. But if they put their first party games day and date, they're gonna charge us more money for it. We already saw how much it costs for games to go on Game Pass. We already, like, all that came out. We now know how much it costs to put a game first party or non-first party, even a third party, day and date on Game Pass. Someone needs to pay for it. And trust me, it ain't gonna be them. And unfortunately, because we all love playing video games, you say it's to first party. How much money have you spent on video games this year?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
It's probably an astronomical amount. Like, if you actually added it all up.
It does rule.
If you added it all up, you probably, like, that sucks. I've spent a ton of money. If they can give you and say, hey, it's $250 for the year, and you don't need to buy another game for the year.
And again, I don't disagree.
Like, they're going to be like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. That's how they're going to sell it, because that's how Xbox is going to have to sell it. They're going to be like, we're the place to play. So you're going to come here, and you're just going to get our Game Pass, and you're going to get everything you want. I hope this doesn't happen. The way you can look at industry, it's going to happen, because this is the way it's trending. If PlayStation can fight it, they're going to fight it tooth and nail for the longest time. And what we're end up going to happen is we're going to get shorter games, like we got with Mirage or we got with Miles Morales. And that's what we're going to end up getting. We're not going to get these epic, huge games. Maybe we'll get, like, one every couple of years. But if the model keeps the way it is, the games as we know it are going to change, and it's going to suck.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how all of this will shake out over the next number of years. We'll obviously keep you all posted. And Sean, that wasn't a shot at Rush Hour. That was a shot at me paying $200 to watch Rush Hour. We have one more question from the community here. Let's bring him in. Black Wyver, who writes, with Spidey 2 less than a week away and potentially a year or two away from Wolverine, assuming connected, wishful thinking, if Insomniac is building out its own little universe, which is the next Marvel character you'd like to see have their own standalone game before tying it into this universe? I'd love for a Fantastic Four or Doctor Strange game staying with the New York City theme. What do you think, Court? What Marvel character is up next in the Insomniac Marvel universe, if that's a thing?
Well, I know which one isn't and which one I want, but we know it isn't because Brian Intihar has already said it's not, which is Spider-Gwen. But if we were going into the whole Marvel universe, of course I'd want Deadpool, just because I think it would be a lot of fun and it would be different combat than we've had in any of the games that we've gotten. So we can have another Gwen and she's still swinging around, so we're still doing the same thing. We're about to get the Wolverine, the hack and slash, but we could get a traversal combat out of Deadpool, which would be a heck of a lot of fun. And you're going to be able to do a ton of cameos and having a ton of different Marvel characters show up in that game.
I'm with you. I think Deadpool would be cool. I still I have to agree with the specs on this one. I want Daredevil. Like if we're gonna stay New York City based, if we're gonna have like having this eventual crossover, which would be Wolverine, Daredevil, and Spider-Man going up against,
that's going to be out of Canada,
right? Well, we don't know anything about it though.
The bar is in Canada. Like all the stuff on that bar, we're all Canadian. They're Canadian license plates.
Yeah,
Canada this,
but
Canada that.
But I'm sure he's going to end up in the thing. That's what I'm saying. For me, a crossover game between them going up against like Kingpin and like, you know, as a mayor going on, taking over New York City, having all of this together would be super, super cool. Having like give me Sifu, but Daredevil. And like, that's what I want. I want like a really cool, almost like mixing some, detective law elements in that, make it grounded.
They already made a game like that. It's just called Batman. You can just go play that. Batman,
yeah, but
Arkham, you got all the detective stuff, way better character.
But no, that's what I mean. I want to play a game with a better character and a better costume.
That's not a real thing.
Because Batman's mid. I hate to tell you.
Yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine. I just want a different thing. I don't want to be in New York anymore. Like I'm done with New York. Like don't put any more games in there. It's the most overused city in all of video games. Give me something different. The fact that Wolverine is going to be based out of Canada is super cool. Like, give me don't give me California. Don't give me New York. Figure it out. Just give me something else.
See,
like, be original. Be original.
I am actually at the opposite end of the spectrum on this one. I don't care. So because I love Like a Dragon and the amount of times to take you back to Kamurocho in the Trail series, there's a familiarity that you build in these places that come like going back to Crossbell for like the 10th time in the Trail series. It's like a homecoming every time. So for me, if you make the game feel different, but still set it somewhere in there, I think it would be really, really cool. Seth shouts out Ben Affleck, the video game. That's obviously one that we need. Jean Grey Phoenix Saga
is the movie.
Just make a Ben Affleck game, and have him wear both the Daredevil and Batman outfits. Obviously, Ben Affleck is the seminal version of both of these characters.
Absolute worst superhero actor ever in the history of superhero actors. Val Kilmer was better than him.
I don't know, dude. Like, I really think that, like, when it comes to Batman, I don't think anybody embodies Batman better than Ben Affleck. Like, I really don't think so.
Sick to my stomach.
I really feel like there's just no actor better for a character like Batman than Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Adam West Batman game is one I would love to have, running around with a giant bomb. Now we're talking. Adam West and Ben Affleck, the two seminal Batman representations of portrayals, let's call them. But Court, this brings us to the end of the show. If people wanted to see and hear more from you, where could they do so?
You can find me at Twitter at Court Lalonde. You can also find me at Carpool Gaming on Twitter. And you can also find me every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on 3 Dads in a Console.
Make sure you go check out Court in all the places. You can find me, obviously, over here on Carpool Gaming. You can find me over on X at Matt_SilverSoul. And you can find us here on Carpool Gaming each and every week. Please enter the giveaway if you want Spider-Man. Or if
also, we're going to be playing Spider-Man live on launch day.
Yes, we will. So get stoked. We'll have more information about that very, very soon. And of course, we have to thank all of our wonderful patrons. I want to give a huge shout out to Dan and Luma, who have joined the gold member tier, and Brian Scott coming up to the exclusive tier. And of course, we have to shout out our ultimate producers, Bobby Miller, who has a new podcast all about lists. Sean was on one. Go check out the List podcast. It's in the notes below. Check out Tony Baker, whose YouTube is Quest for Pixels. Find Jonathan Brown on his link tree at pme.jib. Lee Navarro, who is the fearless leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. PhoenixOverdrive.com. Go check them out. And of course, the homies Trucker Sloth and Cwagmire, our platinum producer RJ Kern, and our wonderful gold members Adam K, Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, Bowsah, Brian Eck, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, Dan and Luma, Dannohh, Drellesh, Emily O'Kelly, Hoppel, John 32, Markus O'Neill, Markus McCracken, MoSpankins, Peje EP, and Tim Aulph. We could not do this with any one of you wonderful folks. Thank you so much for supporting us. We'll be back for Spider-Man 2 on Friday. We'll be back for even more next week. We love you all very much. Stay safe out there. Peace.